What is up, movie viewers? Dina Views and Reviews here, asking what you watching. Well, today I am watching HEIST88. This movie stars Courtney B. Vance, Precious Way, Bentley Green, Bill Tyler, Xavier Clyde, Keith David, and Keisha Sharp. It is written by Dwayne Johnson Cochran, directed by Minhaj Huda, produced by Dunny Hugo Herron, Van Toffler, Sherelle George, Dwayne Johnson Cochran, Courtney B. Vance, Angela Bassett, Lynette Ramirez, and Barry Barclay. HEIST88 is a crime drama that follows a mastermind by the name of Jeremy Horn. Now, Horn is played by actor Courtney B. Vance. I think he is a very good actor. He is just so underrated. Now, this movie is said to be inspired by some true events. Horn decides that he wants to pull off one last $80 million score before turning himself and delivering himself over to prison for a previous heist that went awry. His intent is to do the 5-year stint and come out of prison and enjoy the fruits of his labor. At the beginning of this movie, Jeremy Horn is attending a church ceremony in Chicago that is honoring his brother, Merrick King, his 10th year anniversary of his passing. It turns out that Merrick King was beloved by his community. Now, after the service, Jeremy is approached by his nephew, who is the son of his belated brother. His name is Marshall. Marshall is glad to see his uncle and tells him that his father gave him special instructions when it came to dealing with him, which were, he said his father told him, whatever you do, stay away from him. But Marshall confides in his uncle Jeremy that he has borrowed money to build him a studio and fulfill his dream of producing house music. But now he finds himself in debt to some bad people, some loan sharks, and he needs his help, his expertise in dealing with banking and finance to help him apply for and get a $10,000 loan from the bank to pay these loan sharks off so that they can stop chasing him, beating the hell out of him, and threatening to kill him. So Marshall invites his uncle to meet with him at his studio later on that night because he has some friends also that work in the banking industry, and he wants to know how they can assist him to be able to get this $10,000 to pay to these folks from the bank. He wants help in getting what he needs to get them off his back. So they meet up at this studio, and they are speaking. He walks in, he checks it out, and he says that if they wanted to speak further, it would be a good idea for them to go to the diner downstairs. So Jeremy and him go to the diner downstairs. Jeremy has invited his 3 friends that work from a local bank, Danny, LaDonna, and Rick. These are the 3 friends that work for Chicago Bank. Now, during the meal, there's no talk about the possible loan. Jeremy is just interested in the friend's profession and position within Chicago Bank. When dinner is over, Jeremy tells them their positions at the bank won't be able to assist him. Those positions are not ones that can assist him with the money that he needs. So what he does is he writes Marshall a check for $10,000 and told him, now you work for me. But then Jeremy is interested in his 3 friends at the time. So he is writing their names down. He asks them again, what were their names again? Clearly, that meeting must have started some wheels to turning within his head. So at that moment, I think he decided upon his new mission. But in order for this heist that he was thinking of to succeed, he had to first convince and connect with those 3 individuals that worked for First Chicago Bank to join with him and participate in doing this heist. Now, Jeremy had observed each of the three individuals, these young black employees, in their personal lives, and had discovered that each of them had personal issues and financial difficulties going on that he could use as leverage to hopefully encourage them to become one of the recruits into his fold and enticing them. So the potential millions for each one of them, and the removal from poverty, removal from the dead end jobs, the illusion of success that is ever evasive due to deeply hidden and covert racism within the workplace, unfulfilled promises of promotions, yet constantly working hard, saving the company money, but still being paid low wages from employers that keep promising but never ever delivering what it is that they deserve. When it comes to shift schedules, pay increases, and promotions, offering them less than they felt that they were worth. He was able to convince the three individuals to remove the need to continue accepting crumbs on the broken steps of the corporate success ladder, to say goodbye to low wages, being looked over when it comes to opportunities for advancement, and a decent pay salary. But this movie is set in 1988. And at that time, the minimum wage was about $3.35 per hour, which was the amount that the bank employees admitted that they were being paid. Also, the banking system in America had not switched over to computerized authentication or technology at that time like we see today. So that means that every day big corporations would transfer millions and millions of dollars using simply confirmation codes. These codes would be used to confirm the transfer by a second bank employee by the means of a phone call. And at that time, it required a phone call of two persons. You had two people that had to verify whatever that code was, and millions of dollars would go from one bank account to another. So even though all four were very reluctant and afraid of the repercussions that could possibly come from such an attempt, they eventually all agreed to be a part of the heist and split the millions 5 ways. At that point, they began planning and preparing for the $1 million heist of the First Chicago Bank. I gave this movie 3.5 stars. Like I have said before, basically it's because of Courtney B. Vance. I think he's such a good actor, and he is so convincing to me in each and every role that I have observed him in. I can recall him being in The Preacher's Wife, and when he played Aretha Franklin's father in the movie Aretha, and he was so hilarious to me. He did a great job. He is in a lot of films, and I always find myself intrigued by the characters that he portrayed. He just has that face in which his facial expressions are so vivid, they're so dramatic, and it makes him appear easy to read. Often he is able to make the characters he plays believable. Sometimes they are likable, sometimes they are not. And most of all, they are relatable. Now, Armand Moore is the inspiration behind HEIST88. Even though this movie's ending outcome slightly different from the original case, Minhaj Huda, who is the director, claims, since the film concludes in a different manner, that Moore's real life story has little relevance to him. That's an interesting perspective for one to have. But when Armand Moore left prison in 2018, he was working on a collection of crime memoirs, and he even released a debut novel, The Heist. That's what it's called. It's called The Heist That Shook a Nation, 1 in 70 million. That was released on August 2nd, 2022. In this book, he is able to tell his own story. Now, the filmmakers of HEIST88 did not use Mr. Moore's input, and response from Moore is as follows. These people never even had the decency to offer to take me to McDonald's and buy me a Big Mac and an order of fries, notwithstanding the fact that they are about to make millions. Now, Heist 88 is rated 16 plus, and if you are interested in checking this movie out, you most certainly can, because it is currently streaming on Showtime. Subscribe, like, share, or just leave me a comment on what you thought of this movie. This has been Dina Views and Reviews. Join me right here weekly for my next review and our recommendation. And I want you to remember, it's my view. Now, what you watching?